Hey guys, welcome to Dow Jones Futures Review. I'm going to go over what went down since the Sunday open as well as Monday morning and afternoon. We were right on the ball as per usual, so let's kind of figure out why that was the case. So I'm going to stay on a 15-minute chart right now. This is mainly just for today's setups. I'll do another setup uh, review later as well as what we can expect tonight once we finish the day. But essentially, this was the reclaim level that we targeted um, Friday night. We hit it, sold down, and started pushing above at 345. So we had already reclaimed a very important level. The next reclaim would have been this 47.18 area. That would have required some acceptance before being able to go long. So what we did instead was we gapped open and hit this reclamation level above, um, sold exactly down, and then started accepting this area. Um, Essentially, at this point now, overnight, there was not much to do. The real setup came first at 3 o'clock, the dip in recovery of 47.18. I had some setups here. These were more after the morning shook out, so we'll get to that in a second. But at the time, this was not an A plus setup. It was a dip in recovery setup. It was very close to the high, so it would have not been something I would have taken in that evening session unless we had tagged below here and then came up. But eventually, if overnight you notice multiple rejections and then finally a little dip below these lows and recovery, one could have longed somewhere around 47.20-ish for a move up here, and that worked perfect. At that point overnight, we started consolidating below, and then we had enough acceptance, I suppose, with the first hit here, further acceptance here to push through at 9:30 open, squeeze above that level, and then start selling back down. As soon as we started selling back down, my mind shifted. If we didn't get below this major level right here, the next setup above would have been the reclaim proper of this 47.34 area. We got two examples of acceptance there. So at this point, one could long a couple points above potentially. However, it's not a very high quality setup, typically speak. So from there, um, we sold down. Excuse me one second. Come on. Okay. So we started selling, and now here is where you got to get good at what you do. So the first setup I had in mind when we started selling was a fail breakdown of 47.18. It was an A plus setup if we could dip below these levels and tag this level directly. Um, so we would essentially come down, tag this level, and then come right back up and reclaim this level, reclaim these lows. So it'd be like a little mini fail breakdown, level reclaim. Below that, I was looking at a 47.06 dip in recovery. Now, because at the time we were kind of navigating what was going on here, the setup I was looking for would have been a dip in recovery. It was a B plus there because we were only about 20 points from the current high at the moment. So I'm not really looking to simply take a quick long when you're only 20 points from a local high. But if we could properly dip down and trap a couple times, at least once, then I was open to that long. And then the one after that would have been a 46.97.89 entry fail breakdown of this low, something that like tags around here and then comes back up and goes long above this minor level, clearing this clear low. And that would have been an A plus setup that would have targeted at least back testing this, if not further upside. So let's get into that real quick. First things first, I'm going to delete this third setup because it didn't occur, so we don't really need to worry about it right now. And there's another setup that I would like more than that after that opening day we had. But come on, so let's break down this dip in recovery first and why it was good. So just looking at it alone, you're looking at a sell from the high of the 930 around 47.41 all the way down to 47.07. That's 30 plus points sell in a controlled manner, not just straight down. And when it's slow and controlled like that, one can potentially directly long that if they wanted to. What the situation here would have been, you see, we dipped a little bit, tagged it and bounced a little bit at 1050 and then started selling more. So that's like the first little trap and bounce. And then this is the second trap and bounce. See how we dipped below and started pushing right back up. If you really wanted to and you had confidence, one could have longed right around 47.08, and that worked for 6 quick points right there. Um, for me personally, I would have waited for one more trap just because I would prefer the A plus entry of a failed breakdown here if we could get it, and if we couldn't get another uh, proper low cut here, then I would probably wait for these lows overnight to clear. We already got a little bit of a testing from that level 1045, so I'd want to take the failed breakdown at 47.18 over the dip and recovery here. Now, with that said, we got actually something similar to what I was looking for. See how we had the first bounce to trap, the second bounce here worked for a great 6 points minimum. And then after that, we sold back down, almost lost its low. Dow Jones loves to do that, almost losing a low, but not quite. And then we came right back above this dip and recovery level. One could have definitely would preferred to have long here now. So we got the first trap, the second trap here, a proper dip and recovery, and then you long a couple points above, so around 47.10, and that went right up 8 points. And then we got great acceptance on the real setup I wanted. So see how we pushed through, sold back down, and started pushing above. That is super ideal. That is the A setup I was looking for. Failed breakdown at the 47.18 level. See on a 15-minute chart at 12 o'clock, we hit it, sold down, and then started pushing back up. At 12:15, I would say this was the A plus setup of the morning for sure. Dip and recovery was also end up being a very quality setup the way it went down. But here we had acceptance. It was perfect, honestly, very great education. I can now go ahead and delete those setups. We initially rejected also at 47.34. Guess what happened this time? We went there, we had a little bit of a quick pullback, and then we started going back up. One could have taken the reclaim now of 47.34 with two clear examples of acceptance. But after a move like that, I would not be looking to take a long here. I should have already been long here or here, and this would be kind of chasing. So even though I'm suggesting it, it's not something that's ideal, especially when you have some great volatile moves like this. Last thing left, we hit our target almost. This is the top range of the target. I think we'll probably get there before we sell. Maybe as I go into a higher time frame, maybe we can hit this level above a little bit before selling down. I do expect us to push through though, because you can see here we've hit it a couple times already and weakened it. So if we can get through here and hold, that'd be great. We should target up here. If we reject, that's fine too. Just wouldn't want to reject too many more times. But the current setups I can see just off the top will be a back test of this reclaim level. If that doesn't hold, you can lose it a little bit, maybe tag the DR or get down to this minor before going back up. And that could be another setup of kind of like a dip and recovery. Beyond that, the next A plus setup is clear and obvious. It's the failed breakdown / potential dip and recovery of this level from Monday morning. One does not need to lose the level, but if that's the case, I'd probably want to see this level recovered. If we do lose this, maybe down to this entry trigger and go back up, I'd want to see this get accepted and clear, because there is some lows down here. But again, I think that'd be a great setup. I'm also seeing potentially a broadening formation forming here, so I can really see us rejecting this hard, come down, set up a trap of this low at some point for tomorrow morning, and then really take off and hit this target of 47.78. So hope that helps. Be back with the levels and setup for tonight soon.